and we're hot.
All right. Well, welcome. A few of us that are here, and I hope folks are going to get to join us or watch the recording later. But welcome, Dr. Garko. Always good
Thank you.
to
Nice
be
to be
with
with
you.
you.
It's always a pleasure. Holly, we've been chatting with Holly from Palm Beach, Florida. So there's almost as many people from Florida on as there is from Canada right now. That's good. That's good. Um, so I don't know where you'd like to start today, Doc. I'm Holly, you've been on before, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah,
I try to
so
Yeah,
come every time you do one.
that's
good.
great. So you know who I am, Wayne Elliott, the president of the Strauss Company and the former, well, still, but certainly former delighted customer that just had the best of luck, and my mom and dad both, and so many other people. Um, I by my fourth month taking Strauss heart drops, I was very passionate about this because there was no denying. I knew how I felt. I didn't need the doctor to tell me or any numbers or tests or anything. I was like I went from not doing too good to being a house on fire. I've been like that ever since for 36 years. So uh,
Wow.
that's since the heart attack. 30 years on the Strauss heart drops, or 31. Luckiest day of my life. So yeah, I could never stop doing this, and my dream and Jim Strauss's dream was to have Strauss heart drops on Medicare and available to people under these drug health programs and so forth. And Jim always felt that if we could do that great a job with our hearts and angina and some clogged arteries, all these kinds of things, enlarged hearts, um, any help the body could get to reduce or eliminate most of that, they could have a fine pension here in Canada. The government pension is not very good; it's not livable
Mm.
pension, but we could have if we could do something meaningful against a major disease like heart disease and diabetes. So that was always his dream, and I wish that so that everyone would have an equal chance. In this country, as you know, doctors are free to us when you get to see one, um, and we spend a tremendous amount of money with a free system. It's even abused. You can go to the doctor as many times as you want. You can get the specialist appointment, and you'll wait for most of them for months. Uh, but it's free of charge, and so the system's not in very good shape. Not like yours in the U.S., where you can get this kind of service literally tomorrow in your major cities. So it's very different. And did you know, Dr. Garko, 40% of our country's income goes to healthcare? 40% of the total.
Wow,
Yeah, it's
that's
huge, and
significant.
yeah. Um, anyway, they I like that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the United States uh, is doing some of the things he's doing, and he's not too strong in favor of all of these pharmaceuticals and vaccines and so forth. But I think more important, Doc, if they can open the door better to people who want natural uh, products and formulas, just make them accessible, and instead of resisting, supporting the government could save so much money. When I think of what we've saved just in Ontario years and years ago, Doc, we had a young lady, good friend, who was calling every customer, and it was amazing what we learned that the people had not had surgeries and so forth, and
Mm.
we were just little people here in Port Colborne. You know what I mean? Our reach certainly wasn't very far, and yeah, it was just amazing. So that's our goal always. Um, the products are still a lot more reasonably priced than any other medical care.
Mhm.
So and the satisfaction guarantee continues to make people together with the fact the products are proven safe, 46 years, no serious side effects, harmful effect complaints to DEA. Health Canada or the company. So we know we're safe. It's as different from chemical drugs as food, vegetables, and man-made chemicals. It's that different. So having said that, Dr. Garko, you can take it away and get
Okay.
us started on something more organized.
All right. Of course. Thank you for joining us today. We really are grateful and appreciate your attendance and participation in this webinar. And what we're going to do today, the purpose of this webinar is to, we're going to describe and explain how the cardiovascular system is the foundation to help create, sustain, and restore vitality, resilience, and longevity. And then secondly, how botanicals, such as those that are found in the Strauss heart drops, the cardio calm, and the kidney support drops, can help maintain and really support in a significant way the structure and function of the cardiovascular system throughout the lifespan. And there's always this debate, which system is the most important system of the body? Quite frankly, you can make an argument for any of them as being the most important. They're really all important. And what's really important is that they work together in harmony. That's what that's what biology is trying to do. But the cardiovascular system plays a significant role, as you will see, in maintaining what I have learned and found that people really would like to have, most people, resilience, vitality, and longevity. And those three, how can I call it, elements of quality of life are three pillars that really sustain a healthy life if you think about it. Resilience is the body's ability to adapt to stress, to recover from challenges and restore balance. It really is resilience is what allows the heart and the circulatory system to respond to emotional strain, physical exertion, or environmental changes, and then return to a more, how can we say, calm or balanced or homeostatic state. Without resilience, even minor stressors will take a lasting toll on cardiovascular health. Stress is a killer. That's going to come up. That's a constant theme throughout most of our webinars, and it's going to emerge again today. And I'm just telling you straight up, stress is a killer.
Yeah.
Vitality is what we can call, it's a spark of life itself. It's the energy that fuels every heartbeat, every breath, and every thought that you have. It depends on a strong cardiovascular system. Why? Because that system is delivering oxygen and nutrients in a very efficient way to every cell, tissue, and organ of your body. When circulation fails or falters, energy wanes. Energy equals vitality. But when the heart and the blood vessels are healthy, vitality thrives because you're getting oxygen and nutrients to the cells and tissues and organs. Longevity, really, very intuitive. It's more than the number of years that we live, quite frankly. It is the quality of those years. It is, what is it sustained by? A good cardiovascular system, and that allows us to age more successfully, keeping the arteries flexible, blood pressure balanced, and the kidneys being able to filter. What you're going to hear today is how the kidneys are really the true regulator of blood pressure. But when your circulation remains robust and all the organs from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet are receiving the necessary oxygen and nutrients, you're going to live, you have a better chance of living a longer life. So when you put them all together, then this resilience, the vitality, the longevity, they really represent the essence of health, and they're intertwined, and they all are implicated and depend on the cardiovascular system. So, of course, through diet, lifestyle, dietary supplementation, with botanicals, that's a key, not only to living longer, but to living a stronger, steadier, and healthier and enduring life with quality of life. So that's what that's sort of the tone and tenor of what we're going to do today, and the focus of our conversation, Wayne.
Yeah. Well, Doc, for those that don't know, Dr. Garko is in his 82nd year of life and in tremendous physical health and shape, works out every day, works hard every day, and is doing things that many of us aren't doing after 60 or 65. And I think it's a testament to Dr. Garko Smart. He's a PhD nutritionist. He's made and making most of the right moves for himself to stay healthy, enjoy life, have the vitality he's talking about. I've been the opposite, frankly, and as Dr. Garko would agree, some of my eating habits and smoking and milkshakes and ridiculous, beef, lack of sleep, lots of stress in business. And I swear that since the only thing I've ever taken is these formulas and some vitamins and minerals, of course. And it's the reason that I'm still moving around pretty good, Doc. I do these long drives and I guess I couldn't play football anymore as much as I'd like to, but again, my 72nd year, I think I'm doing all right, despite those wrong things and harmful things that I did. So it's just it's so important. If somebody wants to live a long, healthy life, they should certainly more model you. You've stayed active. You're using your bones, joints, soft tissues every day. Exercise, fresh air. You live in a nice place. I've always noticed people in their 80s are healthier walking that boardwalk in Hollywood than they are here at home, where they're shut in for the winter and everybody's afraid of slipping on the ice and snow. And quite a difference, the ability to get out in the sunshine, fresh air, and that activity. So, but I do have to say, if not for those Strauss formulas, the heart drops, of course, in particular, that started it. I wouldn't be here, and I know it. I just, my iridologist has told me I have clean tissues, and that that's the best thing we can have, is not a lot of toxins, wastes, and poisons left in our body. And that's been another great thing about some of these products, which, Doc, most have some cleansing effect, right? They're doing something, whether it's cholesterol or it's bacteria or what it is helping. So, yeah, I mean, I'll always sing their praises. I've just seen so much with so many thousand people now and talked to so many people via radio lots of times and in person. And so have you, Doc. You've been at this a half a century, so you get to see a lot of people.
I do. And, when I'm interviewed a lot. And I always get asked the question when they'll vet you. When you go on major networks, trust me, those producers vet you. They know everything about you. They knew things about you your mother didn't know. My mother knew me very well. So they're always curious, and I get invited because they want to know what's the secret to getting to where I am, being born in 1944 and being here now with you. And I've been very lucky. And they always ask the question, well, what's the secret? And they're expecting an answer that will focus, or they'll say, what is the one thing that you should do?
Yeah.
And it's not just one thing.
Right.
And it's a multiplicity of things: diet, lifestyle, supplementation. You can't do everything. What you'll learn is you can't do everything. You just can't. I mean, nobody has a perfect diet. Nobody has a perfect lifestyle. Nobody has a perfect supplementation protocol and all three together. It takes a lot of insight and know-how to make that happen.
Or, Doc, the correct amount of stress. You don't get to handle
Right.
that. Life is what it is, right?
It is, right. And so my answer to them typically is, well, there are certain things, the short answer is there are certain things that are really necessary to do. And one of the most necessary things to do is to keep your cardiovascular system functional. And what I've learned in my training over the past 5 decades in being a nutritionist here for about 30 years, and then the other 20 doing as a medical researcher, I know that we're prone to coronary artery disease. The arteries are vulnerable to becoming occluded with plaque. That's just a vulnerable spot. Why? Because the arteries, when you look at the lining of the arteries, it's only one layer thick of epithelial cells. That's it. There's no firewall there, so to speak. It's just this very vulnerable layer of epithelial cells, and they can get damaged, and they do, in a number of different ways. Oxidized cholesterol, the chemicals from smoking, the horrible diet, lots of stress, not enough sleep, which causes, and many times, the blood pressure to rise. And when the blood pressure rises, it damages the lining of that artery, of the arteries.
Yeah.
And then the body tries to repair it. And ironically, in its attempt to repair, it causes plaquing of the arteries.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a paradox. So one of the things I often say, one of the most important things to do is to keep your circulatory, your cardiovascular system vital. And they said, well, how do you do that? And I said, well, that's a long answer too. Short answer, healthy diet and strategic, and a healthy lifestyle, but strategic supplementation. And they'll say, well, what do you mean by that? I'll say, I have a lot of confidence in the herbs, the botanicals, because I know that they can serve the cardiovascular system well. That's where Strauss Naturals was very smart. The family, this is 8 generations of family members creating formulations that were passed down. And they knew, the herbalists know how powerful the herbs are. And it turns out that the botanicals that are in the heart drops, for example, which we're going to talk about, are so vital to creating a healthy cardiovascular system. And that's, one of my answers always is the cardiovascular system has to be vital and the immune system has to be vital. The immune system and they're connected. And the immune system is the sentinel of your body. If that sentinel walks off duty and goes AWOL, you're out of luck. And as we age, here's what you need to know. The cardiovascular system begins to weaken. The heart doesn't pump as effectively. The arteries are more occluded. The immune system starts to wane. This is biology. This is biology's effort to do what? Move you out of the way. Remember what the agenda is of biology. Raise nature. Propagate early and often, raise the offspring, and then die. Nature's figured out if everybody lived to be 200, the planet wouldn't survive. So by rights, really, in the year 1900, average life expectancy was 47 years old, Wayne. That's it. Well, why are we living so long now? Well, better sanitation methods, figured out infectious diseases, better quality of life, so to speak. But quite frankly, we should only be living to about 50. But medicine keeps us alive longer. But so can botanicals, and so can good, healthy nutrition. So you're fighting millions of years of evolution. When you do these violations, you're enhancing the possibility of dying sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so excited about these products.
Yeah, the other big factor too, I think, Doc, is hygiene. If you compare those times, I mean, I remember movies and pictures in England of them dumping their potty out the window onto the street,
That's right.
before running water and all this kind of thing.
That's
so
right.
we're lucky we have that now. Most of us have the ability to stay clean and have decent hygiene and so on and so forth. But yeah, and even though they no doubt didn't have the variety of foods that we've had in our lifetime, unfortunately today's 93% of everything on grocery store shelves, Doc, is or contains GMOs. So it's not this is not 100% natural food. A lot of it, seedless fruits and vegetables and so forth. Uh, they have they've had to come up with so many pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, and so forth, chemical fertilizers, because these plants have weaker immune systems themselves, and then we're eating the plants. We have no choice, really, or very little choice these days. And so there's never been a more important time, Doc. Hence, I mean, how much proof do we need? Our young people and children now are having ailments that we certainly never heard of before. When I was a kid having high blood pressure or diabetes, it just didn't happen. Now, when I was a kid, we had 100% natural foods as well. There were no GMOs, so people my age got a great start. The first ones came out in my late teens. The tomato was the first, and it was a failure. But so I was an adult by the time there were any man-made foods around. But today, we're inundated with them, and we're inundated with way more chemicals than we ever were, including in our water. In parts of Canada, they put fluorine in the water. This is you know what happens in a swimming pool. Your hair gets wiry, your skin gets dry or itchy. It's in our city water most of the time. Same in the United States. You have lots of they've had to have chemicals. So we've gone downhill, Doc, in a lot of ways. When it comes to natural, we've really gone downhill.
And beyond what you were talking about, and I'm on record to say this, one of the biggest threats to public health is the obesity epidemic. The obesity epidemic is being caused, the primary driver of the obesity epidemic, and I've been reporting on, as a journalist too, I've been reporting on it for 3 decades, and it's a linear straight line increase, and it's not abating. 75% of the people in the United States are overweight or obese. About 43% or so are obese. Who's at the scene of the crime here? Ultra processed foods loaded with salt, sugar, and fat. The food industry really, it's unconscionable, in my opinion. It's unconscionable that they're manufacturing these foods, and they know darn well that they're deleterious to the health. These food companies hire people like myself, PhDs with nutrition backgrounds, to help them make these foods more palatable, more appealing and to the taste buds and to addictive. It's not right. They could offer me a job paying me $1 million a year, I wouldn't take it. So that's the main culprit. And it turns out that ultra processed foods are so damaging, not only to the overall body, but the cardiovascular system takes a huge hit, mainly the arteries. So these youngsters, there's an obesity epidemic. You alluded to it, Wayne. You're right. There's kids 12, 13, 16 years old in that area, children and adolescents, that are taking medications for diabetes or for blood pressure because they're obese. They're having adult diseases as children, for God's sake. So what is,
and they're quite inactive. Part of that whole story, Doc, is they're seems a lot more inactive than we were in our youth.
And they're sedentary.
Electronics. There was none of these incredible games they have now that even adults are playing. You know, but the kids are really wired on this stuff and on their phones and constantly. And they've proven that it wasn't so long ago, just a few years ago in Canada, they did this study where they took children with high blood pressure, and they were ages, I think, Doc, 8 to 14 or 8, something like that. And the 1 hour a day that they insisted they be outside, they had a park setting. You could kick a ball, you could shoot baskets, swing on the swings. They had all kinds of things, kick balls back and forth. The kids had to stay out 1 hour a day, and every one of their blood pressure went down. And started to normalize. So, you know, there's so many things, as you said, that we're not really doing the best job at today for ourselves.
Well, it's a risky environment, Wayne. We live in a risky environment in terms of food cultures, and in terms of the actual environment. But what's the solution in terms of your cardiovascular vitality, resilience, and longevity? What's the solution here? And in my professional opinion, based on my training and experience as a clinician, one of the most exciting and empowering discoveries in modern integrative medicine is that nature already provides us the tools to maintain cardiovascular vitality, resilience, and longevity. What is the answer? Botanicals, plants that are rich in these bioactive compounds, Wayne, that have been used for centuries across different cultures for hundreds and hundreds of years to strengthen the heart, improve circulation, support the kidneys, support your brain, support every system of the body.
Yeah.
Today, science is confirming what traditional herbalists have long understood, like the Strauss family, that properly formulated plant extracts can profoundly influence the health and performance of the cardiovascular system, Wayne.
Oh, yeah. There's no question about it. Not just the cardiovascular system either, but, you know, no surprise, really. As you said, the historical uses and values of each of these herbs, but the Strausses, and Jim always said, and these cells, these herbs, these plants are made from the same cells that we're made from. So Jim would say, to expect a chemical drug to actually fix you, which they don't claim, as far as I know, none of them claim to fix you or heal you. But to expect that is like taking your car to the lumber yard to fix with 2x4s and plywood. You need materials the car's made from. We need materials that we're made from, and it makes perfect sense. And the lack of side effects, Doc. We don't have to put pages of warnings. We don't have to put it on a lot of our food either. And yet, it's so wrong. I'm with you there, Doc. It's so wrong. About 5 or 8 years ago, Health Canada, I only heard it once on the radio, but I did hear it this once. That it wasn't on TV, as far as I know. They said there's more salt, more sodium in a quarter-pound burger, and they named the chain. I'm not going to, but a very big chain, more than a human could tolerate in a day.
Yeah.
Doc, there's been days when I was hungry running between shipyards and stuff where I'd get 4 or 5 of them and eat them in about 10 minutes. So, now, did the government insist on them doing anything? No, sir, they didn't. It's voluntary. And so now the new thing is, and you'll maybe notice on some of the cans and things, reduced sodium or low sodium. Now, I've looked. They reduced it maybe 1%. They need it. It's a preservative, and that's how they preserve a lot of these canned and packaged foods. So even knowing it's Health Canada saying it's hurting us, one of these burgers is more than you can tolerate in a day, and yet it's still legal to sell these products. Vegetable juice, and I'm not going to name a brand either, but tomato juice and that kind of juice, they call it vegetable juice, some of them. Well, I like it once in a while. And I was in Florida and I turned the corner and there's a whole skid of it in the grocery store. So I picked up one plastic bottle, put it in the cart, and I said, I'm going to get 2. And I read it, and it was 27% sodium, Doc. So if you drank a quart of that, that would be 4 glasses. You're getting 1 glass, a little more than 1 glass of salt. And it's legal, Doc. It's legal. So that's the outrageousness of what really goes on today when they are resistant to a lot of these natural formulas. It appears they don't want anything that does work. There's a lot more money in keeping us going to the doctor, I guess, Doc.
Yeah, well, it's you have to be informed, and when you're informed, then you have a better chance of coping with some of the pitfalls and traps that are located throughout the culture, especially the food culture. And the formulas are designed. I mean, Wayne has been involved with the company longer than I have. I'm the nutrition advisor for the company. Wayne's been involved with the company for over 30 years. He now owns it. So he knows these formulas pretty well. I was always impressed with the way they were formulated. And when I started using them in my clinical practice, and even well myself, I noticed that they worked. And I was so impressed with that. So we're talking about vitality, resilience, and longevity. When you look at the Strauss Heart Drops, it combines the botanicals in the heart drops are aged garlic extract, hawthorn, mistletoe, cayenne. What do those do? Those enhance circulation and they keep the arteries elastic and they support the heart rhythm. It's interesting that combination is so effective and so powerful. And we'll get into it a little bit deeper. Let me break it out here. When you look at the heart drops, to maintain that circulatory vitality, arterial flexibility, and endothelial integrity, how are you going to do that? I alluded to it just now. Aged garlic extract, what does it do? It enhances nitric oxide. What does nitric oxide do? It dilates the arteries. It lowers the blood pressure. And the aged garlic extract also lowers LDL, the oxidation of LDL, the cholesterol, and it reduces arterial stiffness. Hawthorn, what does it do? It strengthens the myocardium, which improves the ejection fraction, the amount of blood that's being pumped out. And so you have a far more blood being pumped into the system. Mistletoe, European mistletoe, it's a buffer against stress. It balances, it creates what we call autonomic tone. It buffers the stress that you're experiencing. Motherwort regulates rhythm and pressure under stress. Cayenne is used in a lot of formulations. Why? Because it improves circulation. When you improve circulation, that means all the ingredients in the formula are going to get out into the system better. Then bilberry fortifies the capillaries, and then white willow bark is a natural anti-inflammatory. So you can see how that combination, when you put it all together, garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, circulatory vitality, mistletoe and motherwort, stress resilience. When you combine bilberry and willow bark, you get longevity protection.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
that's
genius.
It is genius, Doc. Jim Strauss always said, just like your mother making a nice soup, you need the right ingredients in perfect proportion. If she put too much salt or put sugar in the soup, it wasn't soup you could eat. And they had these formulas down so well. And what I love, Doc, is you just said it, the groups of herbs that you mentioned and what they're historically known to be good for. Strausses knew that we were all different, that we're like snowflakes. We're not the same. We're different ages, states of condition, different DNAs, and so on and so forth, different environments. So it was one of the reasons that sometimes they'll have 2 or 3 ingredients in a formula that is known to do the same thing. And
Yes.
I think that speaks to the success rate, the results with their products, Doc. It's a bigger catch-all, if you will. Look at the menopause formula, Doc. There's 20 herbs in that formula. I think the kidney and the old liver formula was very extensive, but the right ingredients in the perfect proportion, and you have good medicine, and that's what they've always done, Doc.
When circulation is strong, again, I'm asked a lot, what's the key to living a longer life? And I say to them, circulation. And they say, what circulation? What are you talking about? They want some elaborate, profound, complicated answer. When
Right.
circulation is strong and flexible, vitality thrives. When the vascular stress is reduced on those arteries, you have resilience follows. And when the heart's pathways stay open and adaptive, longevity becomes natural. So that's why the heart drop is so important. And there's 2 major problems. It's generally speaking, 2 major problems with the cardiovascular, the heart in particular. It can either be an electrical problem or a plumbing problem. If it's a plumbing problem, that means the arteries are clogged. If it's an electrical problem, that means now you're having arrhythmias and the heart's getting out of sync with itself. So this is where the plumbing problem primarily can be taken care of with the heart drops. The electrical problem with CardioCalm, Wayne, which supports blood pressure, vascular relaxation, and stress resilience. What do
Doc,
you what can you share about the CardioCalm?
Yeah, at first I want to just go back a little bit, Doc. And I thought of my dad. I had a grandmother, my dad's mom, who had what they called hardening of the arteries, and she began to lose uh, her mind, for lack of a better word, uh, by age 60.
Wow.
And of course, by
You need to
65,
get up, please. Go down there.
by age 65, didn't know
Lacey,
any of
move.
us. Could you shut off your mic, Martha? Your microphone, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I beg your pardon.
So then my grandma went 10 years where her heart kept pumping, Doc, but she was gone. Now they told my dad at age 60 he was going to go the same way. He had all kinds of doctors as friends. He built houses for them and everything else. He had a lot of doctor friends, and he had a strong belief in Western medicine. And he was told by 65 he may not know his own name. I'll tell you, Doc, he died at 70 in his 77th year, and he was as sharp mentally as he ever was. And the only thing he did was take Strauss heart drops when they told him he needed open heart surgery in Boston after an angioplasty. He took them. He never had they canceled the open heart surgery when they retested him after 3 or 4 months of him taking the heart drops. And he died with his mind, he died of lung cancer from asbestos on the working on the old ships,
Mm-hmm.
So
you have two arteries. You have two arteries that the brain's a complicated organ, no doubt.
Right.
But you have two arteries, the carotid arteries, that supply blood to the brain and the nutrients and the oxygen that you need. By the way, the primary nutrient that the brain loves is glucose. And 60% of the brain is made up of fat too, by the way. Just little sidebars for you. But when those carotid arteries get blocked, that's when you really start to run into all kinds of difficulty with dementia, and then never mind the arteries in the heart. But you also have arteries throughout the body, and you have arteries going into the kidneys, and if they get clogged, that creates another problem. We'll get to that in a second. But the CardioCalm is going to help maintain blood pressure. It's designed, that formulation, to maintain blood pressure, promote vascular calm, and restore, again, it's autonomic equilibrium. Fancy word for meaning you're going to have less effect of stress upon you.
Doc, I had a heart attack when I was 35, 40 and a half. I found Strauss heart drops. Shortly thereafter, the Strauss heart drops didn't do anything for my irregular heartbeat and did very little for my blood pressure, which was certainly on the high side, not scary high, but on the high side. And when I met Jim Strauss and told him that listen, I've got energy, it's unbelievable, I'm so grateful, but this arrhythmia and the higher blood pressure. And he said, well, that must be your kidneys, then your blood pressure problem. We have a kidney formula. And that's when he introduced me to the cardio for the irregular heartbeat. And it helped my body. Within 3 months, I had no more irregular heartbeat. My friend and former teammate, he was 5 months. Was a big man, and he had a crazy irregular heartbeat. I don't know if there was a name for it, but it was all over the map from stop to 200. And another fellow who was a ball player and stayed in the gymnasium business all his life, worked out all his life with heavy weights. He was 6 months. But, these guys all, like me and Joe, were helped with the cardio. The kidney blood pressure, Doc, that was 3 months for me. And I've had 120/70 blood pressure right up until a year or so ago when I got myocarditis and my blood pressure went higher. That's an amazing formula. The
You
kidney.
can, and the CardioCalm,
Yeah.
I'll give you a brief rundown on what it's going to do here. It's going to help maintain blood pressure. I said promote vascular calm and try to moderate the effects of stress. It has hawthorn, skullcap, Indian sarsaparilla, peppermint, European mistletoe, and cayenne in it. The hawthorn improves perfusion. Perfusion means the amount of blood that's being pushed and pumped, and it stabilizes rhythm. Skullcap reduces the effect, again, I'm going to just generalize the effects of stress. Indian sarsaparilla is an adaptogenic blood cleanser that lowers oxidative load. In other words, the oxidative stress that can happen with the arteries and whatnot. Peppermint relaxes the smooth muscles, and European mistletoe supports vascular tone, and cayenne, again, improves circulation. But here's what's cool. Hawthorn, peppermint, and mistletoe together creates vasodilation. They open up the arteries so you don't have so much pressure on them. If you take skullcap and hawthorn, put those two together, you have more of a better response to stress. If you have sarsaparilla, and you add some antioxidants to that, you have better stress resilience. So overall, the product is intended to promote calm circulation, steady pressure, emotional balance, all of which supports resilient cardiovascular function and long-term longevity. So the argument I'm making, and Wayne and I are making here today, is that if you want cardiovascular vitality, resilience, and longevity, then these formulas can support that. And all that vitality, resilience, and longevity will translate over into your overall life. So the cardiovascular system is foundational here. And that's why we're so excited about these formulas. Wayne talked about, we're almost out of time. Wayne talked about the kidney support drops. This product is clever. It's going to, and I'll say it again, the kidneys control or regulate blood pressure. People think it's just the heart and the cardiovascular system. Work with the heart, but it's the kidneys. And the purpose of the product is to strengthen the kidneys' filtration ability, support fluid and electrolyte balance, and maintain the kidneys' ability to detoxify. Kidneys is one of the detoxification systems of the body, and you don't want that thing to break down. It has juniper, goldenrod, uva ursi, marshmallow, ginger, parsley, gravelroot, horsetail, nettleroot, golden seal, lobelia, and cayenne. It's quite a lineup. And when you take juniper, parsley, and goldenrod, Wayne, you get better filtration and fluid balance. Uva ursi combined with golden seal and marshmallow, you get better anti-inflammatory defense. You take ginger and horsetail and cayenne, that's going to support your circulation. Then lastly, if you take nettle and parsley, put those together, you get better electrolyte stability. So at the end of the day, your kidneys are going to filter better. They're going to regulate the blood pressure in a more steady state, and you're going to increase the odds of having less cardiovascular issues. There's a correlation. People who have heart disease often have kidney disease, and those who have kidney disease often have heart disease, which is, in other words, they're connected. And this formulation is terrific, Wayne.
Well, the biggest evidence of that, Doc, must be high blood pressure, right? I mean, because both organs are involved, and maybe that's the leading. I know there's lots of serious issues with kidneys, and people are on. I've had friends, two of them on dialysis, and boy, oh boy, that's a life changer. And the one lady, well, actually, they both died young. One in her 40s, and one made it to. I don't think she made it to 50, but so yeah, it's like you said, there's no unimportant organ, Doc. Without any one of them, we're goners. But without that blood, that circulation seems to be the most important. And it's the only way that our oxygen and our water and our wastewater and our medicine and whatever gets around, like you said, to where it's supposed to. But you really hit the nail on the head with why Strauss formulas are so effective. There's other formulas out there, and there's some that, the aged garlic in itself is a wonderful formula. But when you add these other strategic, synergistic herbs, as you describe them, the things that they do, it's no wonder we get the results we do, Doc. They're so supportive. It's not just detoxing your kidneys or helping you kill bacteria. It's support for your kidneys as well, or Strauss used to call it food for the kidneys. As rose hips were always considered great food for our kidneys, So I just love that about the genius behind their formulas is something. And so we can have that guarantee. I stake my reputation and my name on it. The buck stops here. If someone, and there's very few, trust me, that are dissatisfied, I've found, Doc, that they were either misunderstood about the dosage or how long to take something. I'm going to say in 90% of the cases, which might be 9 or 10 a year that I talk to. And we get them to continue taking it because we want them satisfied. We want them well, obviously. That's the whole point of this. And I know you've dedicated your whole career to helping people get or stay well. And, that's what the Strauss Company is all about. With these world-class formulas, really. We've dealt with mostly the circulatory system today and the connection really with the kidneys and the heart. And these three products, the other products for men, the prostate formula, a wonderful product, guaranteed, satisfaction guaranteed. I'd like to say your delightfulness guaranteed, because trust me, when you have some of these issues and you get better, you're delighted. That's how I've always been. My mom and dad certainly the same, and so many other people. We need new customers all the time because people do better when they've taken our formulas. And it's not like vitamin C where really any of it. There are a lot of people like myself that take Strauss Heart Drops every day, and we're going to do that, continue to do that, because we don't want to return back to what was angina or any of the other issues. And the Strauss Heart Drops I found is a great way to do that. But the other products are effective. The immune products, the ladies' products are incredible. The menopause formula and the woman's wonder for issues with the menstrual cycle, bloating, cramps. So they're all, when you look at the formulas, you can go on the website and check yourself the ingredients of these things. And they're very comprehensive, aren't they, Doc? Lists of plants used in these. Your audio's off, I think, Doc. You're having technical problems. All right. Well, it's I see we just an hour now, guys, and thanks for joining us. Thanks, Dr. Garko. Always a wealth of information. You can contact us through the website anytime. You ask Dr. Garko. There's a button you can push. You can contact me. Just call them, and they'll pass me your message, and I will call you or write you back. We're just very much in, and a wonderful staff. The ladies and gentlemen out there, that including Peter Strauss, that's always available. I spent hours with him on the phone late at night this week, Doc, talking about different herbs and what we could do in different formulas, bringing back formulas and so forth. So thank you for being with us. I hope you join us again. Holly, nice to see you again. I'll expect to see you again too. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome to join us anytime. And we hope that you've learned something to help you today and maybe help somebody that you love that's having an issue. So don't hesitate to contact us. And until next time, stay well. Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
We'll shut off the movie now, I guess. See you guys.